Not only do I turn looks, I turn bottoms into tops.
I might be a bear, but deep down I'm just a kitten. Hello!
I'm Hunter Harden.
And I'm Papa the Bear, and welcome to the Real Housebears of Salt Lake City
podcast.
I wish you guys could see his body movements when he said that. He does this he did this flourish with his.
You gotta speak with your hands. My English teacher said that speaking with your hands while you're talking, helps your brain activity or some kind of crazy. It makes you smarter.
Well, I speak with my hands even when we're recording or when I'm doing my real job and I'm training other people. I speak with my hands all the time still. I feel like it helps you be more expressive.
Absolutely.
I just tend to be an expressive talker in general.
You're expressive with whatever you do.
I do try to be. I'm a performer.
I'm a singer and a performer and a dancer.
So welcome back to another week. Another week where we still don't have our bottle of Vita.
It was going to happen the other day, but there was quote unquote car troubles. I remember saying I had car troubles when I wanted to be late to work.
So again, the communication is still going. I still feel like it's going to happen, but I just feel like it's going to happen maybe at a time that's a little bit more convenient for the other party, just when they have a spare moment.
Jeez, I don't know when that's going to happen, though. I'm not holding my breath anymore.
I know, Hunter's getting really impatient, guys. He's been so anxious for this bottle. I'm like, it'll happen, but it just probably won't happen on our time.
I don't know. We'll quit making plans with us and then backing out or not even showing up last minute.
It's rude and it's selfish.
Well, surprised that we're early this week.
Yes, we are early this week, and there is a reason for that.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to be going out of town tomorrow to visit my mother for her birthday, and I'm going to be gone for a little bit over a week. So, we are our own producers, and we don't have the fancy technology and the fancy producers so that we can do this from across the country. And
right now we're in a 3 foot by 3 foot closet with half the clothes taken out just to record this.
So we're coming to you early this week so that we can be maybe a day or two late next week. We always try to get our podcasts out on Sunday, but this next week might be a day or so later. Monday probably at the latest, but
I kind of like getting it done early. I think getting it done by Friday kind of it's off of our minds all week.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's fresh in our minds and it gives enough people to watch or listen to the episode before they watch the next one.
Well, maybe we can do some rearranging of our schedule and give that a try. I'm not so sure. We'll see. Every week we're like, we're going to get it done earlier this week. And then every week it's Sunday. We're like, oops, I guess it's time to record the podcast.
All right, let's set aside 4 hours so we can do this.
You are actually talking to two mama's boys.
I'm a huge mama's boy.
Yeah,
oh
we are both mama's boys through and through.
Well, I am the only boy and the youngest out of 5 children.
Yes.
So, of course, I'm my mom's favorite, and I got away with murder, basically. I'm like the worst child in my family.
I don't know. You got some big personalities with those sisters, though.
Yeah, but they don't do it. They never did anything bad. They did good in school, and they never did anything they didn't steal a car. I didn't steal a car, but something like that.
Well, as far as your mom knows, you weren't all that bad. You just didn't get caught.
I didn't get caught, yeah. I was in a detention a couple of times, but no, most of the times I didn't get caught at all. So I was really lucky. A lot of my friends got busted for stupid stuff, but...
I never really did much to get in trouble until I was older in years. I was a really good kid. I never got in trouble. I got good grades. I always followed the rules. And then around 20, something happened, and I was in college, and all bets were off.
College years.
Those were some of the highlights of I literally got sick when I graduated because I loved it so much that I didn't want to leave, that I got ulcers. I was so stressed about leaving college because I loved it so much that I developed ulcers.
Oh, so whenever I want you to do something with me that you don't want to do, that's why you always don't feel good all of a sudden.
Well,
Oh, I get it.
I've done lots of damage to my stomach over the years. Graduating college was the least of the damage.
It was just the start of the damage.
Well, kind of funny. Didn't I just say all bets were off just a second ago?
Did you?
I think I said when I went to college, all bets were off.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And so that's an easy segue into this week's episode. I guess I wish I would have planned that better and just really went ahead and did that.
Do you get it? Do you get it? All bets are off. Do you
Yes.
get it? Do you get it? Do you get it? But do you get it?
I don't know if I do.
They're going to Vegas. This is like our daily life. That is how I talk to Bear all the time.
In riddles.
In riddles.
In songs.
Euphemisms.
In riddles and songs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how you communicate with me.
100%.
So, let's go ahead and get into this week's episode. And let me just start off by saying, every week I'm dumbfounded by the scenery, the scenic shots in this show. But I feel like this week I was even more blown away. Every time they cut to a shot of Salt Lake City, I was like, man, this is even prettier than last week.
I know. It's probably because I wonder if they do all those types of shots in one day or if they spread it out, because it seems like there's more snow on the ground right now in these latest episodes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there's crews here throughout.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who are responsible for filming the ladies, and there are people who are responsible for getting scenic shots and all that kind of
The
stuff.
landscape and the silhouette of the mountains, they always blow me away. Every day when we're driving or just sitting at home, I'm always like, look at the mountains, look how pretty they are.
Yeah, I don't know if we've said this before, but I hope I just never get used to how beautiful it is here. I'm just still, it's been 2.5 years that we've lived here, and still every day. Well, just yesterday in the car, we were talking about if we ever move, we have to protect the view that we're going to have because we have such a beautiful view now.
I know. I will not downgrade.
We'll try not to talk about Utah too much for those of you who don't live here.
Shut up.
But, when travel opens back up, if you need a vacation spot, it really is so beautiful out here. And I'm saying that as someone who has just discovered Utah in the past few years.
Okay, so I feel a little silly, but Jen Shah's tagline, how she says, I'm Queen Bee and MVP, they both have such strong meanings because the bee's nest, the honeycomb, is our state symbol, the bee, and then MVP is most valuable player in sporting.
Did you just now think that?
I just now figured it out.
Oh
I was sitting there thinking of it. I was like, that's why she says Queen Bee.
So explain to everyone about the beehive.
Okay, so the beehive, I can't remember the exact story about the beehive, but it was very important to Utah growing up, and it's now become the state symbol.
Yeah, I think it has something
emblem.
to do with working.
I can't remember
hard.
exactly what it is, but even who was the guy that
Even
came
if you
here?
go to founders' homes, there are
Yeah.
beehives in the decoration and beehives in the on the what do you call the stairwell? The banisters and stuff like that.
and on the highways they have little beehives on the
Our
signs.
state patrols,
Our state
cars
patrols
have
are the
beehives on it.
So I was like, wow, Jen, good job. You hit a double header with that because her husband's a coach, so MVP.
Yeah, but I didn't get the queen bee.
Me either, I just
oh
got
my
it.
gosh,
I'm glad that you didn't think of that already because I felt stupid because I thought of it earlier today and then it just popped in my head again just now. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, do a quick Google search because there are beehives all over the Capitol, all over Salt Lake, all over Utah.
Oh, and here's a fun fact.
What?
Our state bird is the seabird.
The seagull.
I mean, the seabird. That sea thing. The seagull. And the reason
The
for
land
that
gull.
is when locusts and the stuff was coming and destroying all the crops and all the Mormons were dying off because they weren't getting enough food. They said a huge flock of seagulls came and ate up all of those crickets. They're not crickets, they're grasshoppers, locusts.
Locust, yeah, I think so.
Ate them all up and then regurgitated them all into the Salt Lake.
Great Salt Lake.
And then they saved the Mormons.
Yes, the seagulls. I call them the land gulls because I didn't understand that seagulls didn't just live by the sea.
It's a common misconception.
When I said Those are seagulls? Why are those? We're not by the sea. And Hunter's response was, bear. It's like butterflies. That butterflies don't come from butts.
Or butter.
So I still call them land gulls because I think it's funny.
I think it's so cute.
All right, well, let's quit babbling and let's get into this week's episode then.
I'm done engaging on the conversation.
We start off at Mary's house, and if I remember correctly, this is Mary's only scene.
Yes, it is Mary's only. No, because there's another scene of her in the closet. I messaged that because in this first part, I was like, "Yay, she's out of her closet!" And of course, she's having a very upsetting conversation with Robert Sr.
You're right. There is a closet scene. You're right.
But she makes a comment that she's afraid that once she becomes too much to handle, that he's going to get rid of her. And he's like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Sip."
He was like, I don't have time for this nonsense. That's just the stupidest question you've ever asked me. That's what he looked like. He's like, that's a stupid question. Why would you even ask me that?
It is, but it kind of opened me up to just how insecure she is, and she's just worried so much about.
Yeah.
She worries so much about things. She's got a long list of things that irk her, and all that stuff.
I try not to get into what I don't know about Mary, but I listen to a lot of Bravo podcasts. I have constant conversations with a lot of my friends, and a lot of these other podcasts and other folks really like to talk about the trauma that they think that Mary probably went through when she was younger. I have another friend who actually has been through an eating disorder for herself, and she talks to me how she sees signs of an eating disorder from Mary. But I just don't feel like, first of all, I want us to be kind of a little bit of a lighthearted podcast where people are just here to kind of laugh and have a good time. Mm-hmm. But I also just don't feel comfortable speaking on these things that are so serious that I know nothing about. And I wouldn't want to be disrespectful to anyone who is really going through an eating disorder or who has really been through trauma in their childhood or in their family life, and be insensitive about it.
Yeah, but it's hard not to be observe what is going on because they are on a reality show. They are showing their lives out there. They are getting paid to do this.
True.
So I have a hard time kind of not being mean, but I do want to be nice because I don't want to be rude. And like a lot of these ladies in the first episode, I was like, oh, I don't like her, blah, blah, blah. Now I love them.
Right, yeah, for sure. I mean, she's great TV. She's really, really great TV. And I really try to separate that because, again, we've seen all these kinds of videos and read all these articles about what she has done, what she is doing, her church and all that kind of good stuff. But I'm just for now, I'm just going to focus on the few moments that we get her each week on our screen.
Listen, if my grandma was going to leave me an empire and stuff and even a church so I could get praised as well and be felt important and just tons of money and businesses and you have to marry, your grandfather, I would do it. I'm not going to lie about that.
In the next scene, Meredith and Brooks is shopping at this really cute place called River Horse Provisions. It's a really cute shop. Brooks' diet is pretty much, I've been on this same exact diet.
It's basically
before.
his personality. No fun. It's the no fun personality Brooks diet.
That's offensive.
Yeah, I've been on this diet 1,000 times. My friends used to joke with me because I used to do really extreme dieting, and my friends were like, "Corey, did you have your 3 almonds that you get today?"
You're like, "I've had half of one today. I'm full."
And whenever I go to Starbucks, I always get a skinny vanilla latte. So I'm like, no sugar, no fat, no fun, but all the taste.
Ooh, I don't know about all the taste.
But the funny part about this is that Brooks says he's gluten-free, sugar-free, and dairy-free, but everything that he sees in this shop that he wants is off of his diet.
Even the dog food.
Yeah, even the dog food. You're hungry when you ooh, this dog food looks
this
good.
looks good. But have you seen, have you been into those types of organically owned, owned by farmers types of shop, and you see the dog treats? It straight up looks like good food.
I mean, you can buy dog treats in the freezer section at the grocery store now.
It's crazy.
It is really crazy, but I relate to that. I'm like, well, even today we're like, you know what? I really want a burger, but let's go find something that's better for us than a burger.
Yeah.
And then we went to Chili's and ate things that were worse for us than a burger.
I had a salad.
Eat caviar, bitch.
Yeah, but you also had pasta filled with cheese and fat and carbs and all that kind of good stuff.
I was
Starving.
I know.
I was so hungry today. All I had was just a little bowl of oatmeal this morning.
I just thought that was so funny. We're like, yeah, let's go to a restaurant where we can like have some choices that are lighter, so we don't have a burger and weigh ourselves down and keep gaining weight.
Listen, I felt like I was eating healthy because I didn't order any fries.
Well, maybe you and Brooks can go out to dinner.
Did they even get anything at that
I
shop?
don't even know if we made it that far. It was a pretty quick scene. I like that they always call Jen's chalet. They don't ever say Jen's house. They always say it's always chalet.
It's always Jen's party, and it's always Jen Chalet.
Shaw Chalet. Jen and Sharrieff are hooking up Heather Gay with Sharrieff's like best friend, Big Daddy, and Sharrieff is like excited.
That's my dog.
This made me really realize why Jen needs her husband home so much. He is so much fun. He's got such great humor.
I love watching him dance.
He's gonna spark it up.
I'm about to get this thing sparked up. Right the trunk, baby.
Okay, baby.
Yes.
Spark. Oh, I love that.
And I love how much he loves Heather.
Don't breathe heavy like Heather. I think that's weird.
They're like best friends, and I love it so much.
So I was going to say this later during the restaurant scene, but I'll go ahead and say it now. Do you know who Heather and Sharrieff remind me of?
Who?
Michelle Obama and George W.
No,
but switched the other way
that is
around.
So good.
Yeah, they're switched the other way around
Oh my
as far as
gosh,
gender and
so
race and everything
good.
else, but they're very much Michelle Obama and George W. Like, you know that they want to pass mints to each other. They always got inside jokes going with each other. This whole entire episode, I'm like, look, it's Michelle and George W.
Oh, I love that. That's kind of cute. But yeah, their relationship, like, you could tell Sharrieff loves his girl.
And Jen loves that Sharrieff loves Heather.
I know. I'm so glad that she doesn't have any, like, jealousy or anything over that.
Yeah, for sure. I love it. I think it's really cute. Speaking of cute, we've got both Whitney's brother, Will, and Whitney's dog, Rocky. Have we met Rocky before?
I have not seen Rocky yet. I haven't seen very many dogs on this. I don't think I've seen any dogs yet.
We've seen a few, but I don't remember. I don't remember seeing Rocky before. But he gets a lot of screen time in this scene. Whitney explains like the complicated history of her family, and we hear again that her dad's addiction was another reason why they're all split up.
For like 10 years.
10 years. Will has been kind of unsure about reconnecting with his dad, but we've seen a little bit this season him gradually jumping in.
Well, I could totally see where he's coming from too, because apparently, like he says, talk is big. We've had this conversation before.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was wondering what happened in their family like that, but that can really break up a family saying, I'm going to get clean, and then everybody pitching in and putting in their efforts, and then you bailing out.
Heck
so
yeah.
I could see where the other two are coming from. But I felt really uncomfortable when Shaylee came in. Did you see how long it took her to go around the banister?
Yes.
It took her a very long time, and I could feel the anxiety, but it made me feel good that they both greeted him with Dad. Hi, Dad.
And you know what I also love? They all looked each other in the face. Did you notice that?
I did. I noticed that too, because a lot of families don't make that strong eye contact.
Yeah, but they were like, he was like genuinely happy to see my child's face, and they were genuinely happy to see their dad sober.
Yeah. Will's shoulders seem very stiff.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
He carries all of the stress in his shoulders, for sure.
I don't know if he doesn't have a neck, and that makes like a button-up shirt makes it look like that, but he just seems so stiff in the shoulders.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of where he's probably uncomfortable right now.
Yes.
He's seeing his dad, who he hasn't seen. He's on camera.
Yes.
This is
They're
first
about to
time.
have this uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah, this is the first time the five of them have been together in 10 years, so I'm sure he's got a lot of stress. But a few funny things about this scene.
Yeah.
Number one, Whitney invites everyone over for dinner and orders Chinese food.
Thai food.
Whatever. I was like, you couldn't even at least pretend, like put it in a plate like you made it. Sprinkle some paprika on top of it and pretend like you made
bring
it or
the potato,
something like that.
take it out of the case.
I thought that was hysterical. And another thing that I thought was weird during this scene is like they show a close-up of, I believe it was Shaylee, like putting the food on her plate. I'm like, why are we taking this like 5 to 10 seconds to focus on literally just Shaylee scooping, like a close-up of her scooping food out of the container onto her plate? I was like, what? Why was this important?
I was all for it because I'm starving. But I did. It's nice to find out that her dad does have a roommate.
Yeah.
Now, so
he seems okay with it.
It did work.
He seems okay with it. So he told his sober living folks that he was excited about dinner with his kids, and then someone suggested that he should be grateful for his addiction to bring them together. And I was like,
that
what?
doesn't make sense. I know. I was like, that doesn't make sense at all, because if you didn't have this addiction in the first place, you wouldn't have missed out on these 10 years to have this dinner. And when I heard that too, I was like, wait, what? I was like, don't take advice from drug addicts.
Right? I understand that the person, for one thing, was just trying to make him feel good about where he is
about
in
the
his
situation,
life.
yes, but it just didn't come out right. It doesn't sound right. It just didn't really work, because when he said that, there was a long pause kind of after he said that, and I was like, ooh, that's
And maybe the friend or whoever it was also like, now you're going to end up even tighter than you ever would have been because you've been through this together.
that might have been what he was kind of going for.
But
think.
just the verbiage he used there, it made me a little bit sick to my stomach. I was like, no, I don't think that's what we're trying to say.
I know. I just the long pause. I don't know if there was a long pause or if producers just added that long pause, but you could see them being like, wait, what? We wish you didn't have this addiction, Dad.
Yeah, no thanks. And then, like you just said, Will kind of goes in and he's like, we've been through this, Dad, before. How do we know? But I do like that both Will and Shaylee are willing to go to sober living and be part of like the program they talked about there.
Yes.
And because that's clearly a step that they haven't taken before. Again, I kind of hate knowing in real life that he's kind of disappeared. And
He's a kind of MIA from the family.
yeah, I hate that because that normally doesn't mean anything good. But
Let's move on to something even better than this.
Cucina Toscana.
What?
That's the name of the restaurant. Cucina Toscana.
Oh, I said Toscanos.
No, Toscano's is that Brazilian steakhouse that we went to.
I spelled it out. Toscanos. Is it?
Cucina Toscana.
Toscana. Oh, I totally got it mixed up. Oh,
Because we've been to Toscano's before.
I love Toscanos. Oh, it's so good.
So this is like when Heather comes in here and he's beatboxing for her and she's dancing, that was like my true George W. and Michelle Obama moment for me.
Give me a little beat, baby. Give me a little beat.
I love that. They're so cute. You could tell how much Sharrieff has so much fun with Heather.
Yeah, and Jen Shah wants to make sure that Heather Gay knows that Jen appreciates her friendship and she wants to spend time with her.
That made me really happy that she took to heart what Heather said at Mystic Hot
Yeah.
Springs, because Jen Shah can be kind of self-absorbed.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that she actually heard that and has taken it to heart and is going to make sure that Heather does not feel that way. That is a good friendship. Friendships are a lot like relationships. You kind of have to treat them the same but you could get rid of them just as faster than a relationship.
Yeah.
But friendship is a type of a ship. You gotta steer it. You gotta tend to everything. You gotta tend to the sails.
You are deep.
You gotta tend to the direction.
This looks like some real bullshit right now.
But I've always say the way that you show someone that you care about them is to pay attention.
Exactly. Yes.
And Jen Shah paid attention.
That's why I love gift giving, because it really shows somebody that you're really thinking and listening to what they're doing, especially if you have a really good gift. I'm really good at gift giving. I love that.
You are very good. At
Heather hearing the name Big Daddy, or and he lives up to his name.
And Big Easy too. Big Easy or Big Daddy? I'm not
Big
sure
Daddy,
which it is.
Big Easy, Sir, Captain, whatever you want. Pirate looking for some booty. I don't care. I'll call you whatever you want.
But you know what? I could tell one thing that was just kind of a moment, and I noticed maybe the second time looking through, when Heather's like, ooh, so tell me about Big Easy. You can tell that she's giving off this sexual energy.
Oh, yeah.
And Sharrieff goes something along the lines of, no, it's not like that. So Sharrieff, I think, was actually trying to set Heather up by knowing, listen, he's not a party guy. He's not necessarily a good time guy. He's just good, solid people that you need to know.
I didn't catch that because my ears are still ringing after hearing Big Daddy. Oh, Big
My
Daddy.
ears are ringing from Sharrieff's beatbox.
But you could tell that Sharrieff, like, this is one of his really good friends, like close friends.
Oh, they've been friends for 30 years. They played ball together.
Yeah, that's awesome. Heather needs some tenderloin meat right now.
I'm all about the tenderloin.
Who doesn't?
I love her eating choices. She just wants meat, and that's all anybody wants.
It's so
in life.
funny because, like, even Andy Cohen has said that whenever they go out to dinner, they always make sure to show what they're ordering. Mm-hmm. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Heather Gay, it's like part of her storyline sometimes.
Oh,
I support it.
her licking the meatball at that Eyes Wide Shut party in the first one was just the best imagery ever.
We love the meatballs.
Oh, I love it, and I love her.
Winking at boys as they walk by, it just kills me.
No one can flirt like Heather Gay.
Not like climb up his leg or anything yet. Just wait after dessert.
But you know what did kill me was when he ordered cranberry and orange juice and Heather's face after that.
I wish you could hear her face. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, seriously, I felt like I could.
Well, actually, what got me first is his name is Keith. Did you catch that?
Big Daddy. All I heard, Big
Yeah,
Daddy.
his name is actually Keith. And she's like, I heard you're the Big Easy. And she's totally into him at first.
Oh, yeah.
He's tall, dark, handsome, and alive.
Those are some good check marks to list off. But you know what was interesting? That the last two men that she has, kind of hooked up with or tried to hook up with, neither one of them drink.
Not drinkers. I even wrote down, I can't, and it's all in all caps, I can't wait to watch Heather flirt. And then he ordered that drink, and I was like,
and Heather, her reaction to it reminded me so much of you. Like, what? No drinking? Okay, I'll force alcohol on you later.
No, she's like, looks like I'll be drinking enough for both of us tonight, which I've played that game too.
Oh, you played that game too. Trust.
So I was sad that I didn't get to watch her strong flirt game because it's really enjoyable to see. But oh well, maybe there's still another episode or two left.
There's got to be another Big Daddy out there.
I also love when Jen is trying to talk to Big Daddy or Big Easy about how great Heather. Like, what I love about Heather is, like, she's changed the game, blah blah blah, and then he's like, "Is this a carrot?"
I know. I was like, that is not a good first date. Like,
no, Jen was annoyed.
That did not make you look good. And I hate that too. Like, when I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're like distracted in the middle of your conversation with something else, I just stop talking. I stop doing my conversation because I'm like, I'm done. I don't need to tell you the rest of it.
But also, was it a carrot? Have you ever heard of a carrot being a garnish for any type of beverage, even like beverages without alcohol?
Listen, celery is a garnish, so I'm gonna say
but that
carrots could
makes
be
a little bit more sense to me. I don't know. I was like, certainly it's some, maybe it was decorative. I don't know. And then Heather makes the mistake of asking him what he does in Pennsylvania. But before I get into that, let me say this. Knowing that he's in Pennsylvania and Sharrieff knowing that he's probably not the kind of guy to hook up when he meets a girl, then this really wasn't trying to make a love connection.
No.
Because he's far away.
Yeah.
And he's not, again, the type of guy to leave a party with a lady like the last gentleman that Heather met.
Well, no, because when he was talking to Jen before all this, he's like, I think this is going to be a connection for Heather. Remember?
Yeah, but I'm like, why didn't you know better?
I don't know. I think he was just more excited to try to have a connection. And plus having his best friend in town, that's fun.
And maybe since Sharrieff is not a drinker and maybe not so much a party guy, maybe he doesn't understand people like Heather and myself, where that's an important component in a partner. I need someone who's going to be my wingman at a party. I need someone who's going to be my drinking buddy. I need someone who's going to be my go-to for a good time, And
Trust.
and in the way a good time means similar, not exactly the way, but similar to what it means to me.
Yeah, well.
And clearly, even though Jen Shah posted something on social media about not, all the great qualities about this guy and couldn't believe that Heather wasn't into him, I'm like, it's not that he wasn't great. He just doesn't have, what was in common?
When you were saying that you love seeing Heather flirt, I don't think you caught the video, her live video that she was doing on Instagram with, I think his name was Alex from Below Deck or something.
I literally just saw that it was happening, but I didn't get to see it.
I listened to a little bit. It was kind of hard to watch, and mostly on the guy's part. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to listen to, but they were just flirting with each other and back and forth, but I couldn't finish it because it was just too hard. It's not a love. I definitely know that's definitely not a love connection.
No. Well, I couldn't flirt up against Heather Gay. I would be, now that I've seen her flirt on TV, I'm like, I don't have the flirt game. Well, maybe I do.
I don't have a good flirt game, but whether it's with somebody that I'm not sexually attracted to, I could flirt game it up.
Yeah. So, Big Easy supports student athletes, and he starts telling his story at 7:35. And continues telling his story at 8:05, and at 8:17, and at 8:34, and at 8:43. That is like an hour and 10 minutes of him talking straight. I mean, certainly it wasn't him. I mean, was it? I mean, it could be.
I mean, it could have been because he was going, I still don't know what he does.
Yeah, he's a catch-all. He supports student athletes, but he doesn't have a specific title. He fills in the blanks of what is not being handled by other people.
The music in the background during this whole scene is so funny. The downward drum beats and stuff. Dun, 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 dun. Like, it was just too good. Yeah. But when he says he wants dessert, Heather replying back, we'll get you a Slurpee on the way home. You'll be fine.
My
That made me laugh so hard. It was so quick.
Yes, it was. Well, she rarely says something that isn't funny. I mean, just like everything that she says is like a one-liner. She's so funny. But, like Jen wants to go salsa dancing. He wants to get dessert. She's like, I want to go somewhere and find someone who will drink with me.
Yeah. Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
Icy or Slurpee?
So I don't know if I even, it's different in different regions of the country. I think icy is kind of national, but I don't know that I've had a Slurpee necessarily.
What?
I know I've had other things similar to Slurpees. Like there's one kind of similar icy fruity beverage that has a slush puppy. I've had a slush puppy, which is like a Slurpee.
No.
But I don't know if I've had like the brand Slurpee. I think that's maybe more of I don't know if it's West Coast. It wasn't in the Southeast anywhere.
I am clutching my pearls because I am very upset with you right now because that is just not acceptable. So Slurpees are like the best frozen drink ever. It comes in like 6 different flavors. You can mix them all together. That's called a suicide. But and they have like the Coca-Cola Slurpee. Gosh, it's so good. And you like put that at the very bottom. So then when everything melts at the very end, you have like a Coca-Cola Slurp at the end.
So like an icy is more of like a foamy drink, and a Slurpee is more of like an icy ice type drink,
I would
chunky
say
ice type drink.
More flavors.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the same thing as like I mentioned Slush Puppy and these other brands.
It's not, but it's okay. I will help you, and we'll go to 7-Eleven. Stop.
Well, thank you for inviting me to this Slurpee TED Talk.
Listen, growing up, going to 7-Eleven as a kid, especially on the 7-Eleven, the month and the day, like you get free Slurpees, or you could bring in like a cup, whatever size cup you want, and fill it up.
Work.
It is awesome. Slurpees are the bomb. That's like summer childhood memories right there.
After Heather Gay says about, and thanks for inviting me to this sober TED Talk, there was another moment where I wished I could get a soundbite of Heather Gay just shaking her head. I wish there was some way there was a soundbite. But I really thought it was so nice that Sharrieff got her a car. He's such a gentleman.
I wanted to say something about that. When Sharrieff says, like, do you need me to get you a car for a ride home? That is such a gentleman thing, and it reminded me so much of you, Bear, because when we go up the stairs, he makes me walk in front of him, and when he goes downstairs, he makes me walk behind him, just in case if I fall, he's there to position himself to catch me.
And I walk on the side of the sidewalk closest to the road.
So I don't get hit by cars. He keeps me on a leash so that I don't get too far away. He gives me treats when I poop in the designated area. Like, that's just great. Like, he treats me so Good.
That's awesome.
So do you want to go to Whitney's house?
Hold on.
Okay. You are a true gentleman. You always put my needs before, and it really reminded me that's kind of what Sharrieff is like. He's just a no holds bar gentleman.
I agree.
And I love seeing that. So let's go to Whitney's house.
Yes.
Kids these days.
Rolling
Rolling around on their skateboards and eating junk food.
All of these women have really beautiful kids, though. They all really do
They're
have
all
beautiful
cute, yeah.
kids. I like Whitney's statement, the longer you let things go, the worse they become. I mean, that's kind of an obvious statement, but not all of us are, sometimes we put things off hoping they'll disappear. Mm-hmm. And she's has the insight enough to know, like, this isn't going to disappear.
Yeah.
So she wants to, and speaking of what's not going to disappear is, Jen's and Sharrieff's party. What happened at Sharrieff's party?
Yeah, her anger about that.
And I also like when she wants to get the girls together, she says, I know that I'm not the fan favorite right now. Yeah, clearly, maybe not.
But I love the cut scenes to all these texts going through. I'm like, the texts have started and it's spreading faster than mono during band camp.
Well, I thought it was strange that it was all via text because normally when they plan a group trip, it's via FaceTime or it is even in person. But I think Whitney's probably just nervous to see some of these people in person, and maybe she's just...
I don't know. This cast, I don't know if it's because I'm focusing so much on this season of SLC, but none of these women are friends. It's so separated. They don't all get together and do stuff. Like in other series, like they're all having lunch and dinners with different random girls at different times, and they're all getting together at the same time. But it's basically there's two groups. There's Jen and Heather. And then there's Lisa and Meredith.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. And then Mary somewhere on the side.
Oh, yeah. And Mary and Whitney are just kind of floaters, you know? And I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if I'm just focusing on it too much.
There is a divide. Weird. They haven't all filmed together since the Crazy Luncheon.
Oh, my gosh. That's true.
So, episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they've done other things as a group minus Mary.
Has anybody checked on Walter?
Sorry, you guys. We found out just this week when during the filming we were watching the show with a friend, and he let us know that. So we got married last October in a private space in a restaurant, and we found out Wednesday that we got married right next door to Walter's Osteria.
Amazing. We could have had Walter there as a witness.
He could have been he could have done the ceremony. He could have brewed up a potion, got in his time machine, and done our wedding.
And he probably could have taught us some spell potions afterwards.
He could have given people the last truffle on earth.
Gosh.
So that was really exciting to find out.
I did find out that white truffles, that was not the last white truffle on Earth. That cannot be. That would be so pricey, and it wouldn't be in Salt Lake City across the street from P.F. Chang's.
Right. So Heather's immediately into Vegas. Jen Shah, she's like, yes, girl, as long as I'm the CEO of fun. And then Meredith, well, Vegas isn't exactly my scene, but I can probably make it. And I'm like,
why
Meredith,
do you say that?
Yeah, Meredith, I love you. You don't have to say Vegas isn't my scene. You can just say, hey, I can probably make it. I'd like to spend time with my castmates.
Yeah, exactly. I
hate to speak anything negatively about Meredith because I'm in love with her in a way, but I was like, Meredith, don't be a Debbie Downer there.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Mary is in her closet again.
Yes, this is our second Mary scene, so just for a second. She loves Vegas. It has one of her favorite homes.
But Bear, did you hear that? She has a beautiful home there. She needs to let everybody know that she has a home there, and it's one of her favorite homes, too.
This is one of my favorite homes.
Right? But she would rather have a plane full of mice than go to Vegas with Jen Shah. So let's list Mary's phobias. She has mice now. She has convenience stores with African-American men.
Wait, it's not just mice, it's rodents.
Yeah. Convenience stores with African-American men, hospital smells. Her list of phobias is growing.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Does she leave her house? Is she agoraphobic?
Well, she goes to church at least.
Well, that's just another home.
And then Lisa, I'll have to think about it, but thanks for the invite. and then calls Meredith.
Right? Jeez. It's
And that comes up again later.
There's a lot of kind of mean girl kind of thing going on with Lisa and Meredith, mostly on Lisa's behalf.
Lisa versus Whitney, very much. Lisa is still, she's not pissed, she's pissed.
And Lisa says, isn't that ironic that Whitney hasn't apologized to me? I'm like, is that irony?
No, it's not irony, not at all.
We've had lots of discussions about irony in this household.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with the difference between irony and coincidence. It's a conversation that I bring up more often than you guys would probably be.
It has made me not believe in irony anymore. Everything's a coincidence.
Right. But Lisa wants an apology. She wants Whitney to take accountability, and Whitney still hasn't, to be honest with you. And Meredith said she's willing to go, but she's not interested in having any drama. I'm like, good luck, sister. Good luck with that.
I mean, we're coming up to the very end of the season, and we all know what comes up at the end of the seasons. There's always a huge travel and a huge fight. But you know what? I was kind of proud of Meredith saying, I saw her. She was just the messenger. So I'm not going to see her as, an enemy anymore. I'm going to let it go. Yeah. So I was like, good job, Meredith. Way to keep your head on your shoulders.
Yeah, I really like that, too. Mm-hmm. Why don't we take a little bit of a break?
I'm thirsty.
Yes. And then when we get back, we'll head towards Vegas.
Hooray!
Bye. We'd love to give a shout out to our sponsor, Anchor Podcasts.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more.
You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place.
Anchor is where we started with our podcast, and it's been really great for us, and that's how you're able to hear us on all the different streaming platforms.
We love it. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Hello.
When we get back, we are in our getting ready for Vegas montage, starting at Heather's house.
Getting these Vegas looks.
These are my Vegas pants. I think that every time Heather Gay speaks, she cracks a joke. She's just so funny. And I like that she's even that way with her kids. She's like, are you worried about mommy bringing home a man? He's a top-notch gambler.
I love it. She's so friendly with her kids. And it's like they have a good friendship.
I love everything that I see about the relationship. And then we move to Whitney's.
Mm-hmm. And she is getting her outfits ready, and she still has not heard back from Lisa about going.
So she doesn't know if Lisa's going at all, but I just like at the very end of this, Justin's like, good luck. And you were happy to have a few more moments of screen time with Justin.
I just love Justin. I think he's a sweet guy.
These Salt Lake husbands are just solid.
I'm loving Sharrieff even more now, though. He's just really a stand-up guy, and I love him.
In the next scene, I love Meredith's racer striped denim jacket. These women got some serious coat and jacket game.
So sexy. I love it. Well, when you live in the cold, you really got to accessorize your jackets with your outfits.
Yeah. So Brooks is helping her pack. So I love first of all, I love what Meredith considers walking shoes. and then Brooks doesn't know that people walk a lot in Vegas.
I don't know. Brooks just wants to say something nasty.
Well, he only knows that it's the prostitution capital of the world.
I don't know if that's true, but I definitely know it's the gambling capital of the world.
I mean, he probably hasn't been to Vegas or party Vegas, but anyone who's seen a Vegas commercial or seen a movie that takes place in Vegas, I think that there's always people in the streets when you're not in a pandemic.
Yeah, and I grew up in Reno, Nevada, so when I say that, people are like, oh, you live right next to Vegas. I'm like, no, it's 8 hours away. Yeah. People get very confused with Reno and Vegas.
Then cut to the CEO of the fund committee, Jen Shah.
And she's with Stuart.
She is the person who everyone gets along with because she's the hype girl.
I'm kind of like the person that gets along with everybody.
I was like, Jen, who are you talking to?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing is, I think that is her, but we're just what's interesting for the story is when she's blowing up, and that's what they're showing up mostly. But you can see, like earlier when she was on her roller skates and her...
When she's having fun, she is having
fun. I bet you she loves to party and have a good time. But just like a lot of the housewives of York, Brandy Glanville, for example, alcohol just that gets to a point where you see the switch flip. You're like, uh-oh, I see the red in their eyes.
What the is this?
Ooh, but she is a no-holds-barred fun time girl.
Sure
I got in trouble because I said...
You didn't get in trouble.
I said no-holds-bar instead of barred. And I didn't know that.
Well, no, I didn't. You were in trouble. I was just like, I think that maybe you don't know that phrase. So
I'm glad you told me that because I've been saying it wrong for years.
I know it was unsolicited advice, but it could be fixed in 5 minutes. And I told you because I felt like you might appreciate knowing it.
You did. I just say in trouble because I like to give you a hard time.
I know. Then the girls get to the airport, but what you all don't know is that this is the old Salt Lake City airport.
We have a brand new airport that opened up, I want to say late March, early April. I want to say it finally opened.
Last year, yeah.
Of last year of 2020.
Right when we were no longer flying.
Right when we were no longer flying. Our new airport is gorgeous,
Beautiful.
but you have to walk more in that place than you do in Vegas.
I don't think it's going to always be
It's not always going to be like that, but right now you have to walk. So anybody that has been to our Salt Lake City airport right now, you're like, dang, they have to walk so far to get out of here.
Oh, unless you're Delta.
Unless you're Delta.
But so when I saw this old airport, I was like, oh. I was a little disappointed because the new airport is something very important to us.
Really? What happened there?
I don't know. I mean, nothing major. Just only that's the place where I proposed to you.
Oh, that's right. I get proposed to by so many people all the time. It's hard to mix it up.
It's just a thing.
But yeah, you know what? I love it because when I do travel now, I get to walk by where you propose to me every single time, and it makes me feel so good.
Yeah, so before I proposed this past October, right before we started this podcast, I called Hunter's mother to get her permission, because, again, I know he's a mama's boy.
And he's a gentleman.
Yes. And then, so Hunter was coming, Heather Hunter.
Same word, same thing.
Yeah, was coming back from a trip. And so my good friend Bob and I, my brother Bob, as a lot of people call him, we went to the airport. And so when he came out from where all the passengers are exiting the airport, I got down on one knee in front of everybody and pledged my love.
And our local news picked up the story and picked up the video and shared it. So it was pretty awesome. And my friend at Instinct Magazine picked it up for us too and wrote about it. So it's really sweet.
It was
so
really
you
special.
You could Google it and you could see it yourself.
Yeah, there you go. So whenever we walk through the Salt Lake airport, it's exciting. And so when we saw the old airport in this episode, we were like, wah, wah.
Yeah.
But we do get to see Whitney's Vegas hair, which is probably the hair from all the promos.
Yes, the longer one. Yeah.
Yes, and to be honest with you, it looks way better here than it did in the promos.
Yeah, I think because in the promos they have such bright light shining on her.
Well, and the crimping in her hair, the curling that they did, and the part, and you can like see her real hair. Like, and I hate to say this, but when the promo photos were coming before the show happened, I was distracted by Whitney's hair in every shot. I just did not like it. It looks better here. I'm not going to lie, though. I still think her extensions could look even a little bit better than they do here.
Yeah, now that I know about extensions and how often women use them, I notice it a lot more now.
Yes. Whitney has still not heard from Lisa, doesn't know if she's coming. Whitney is not happy about the lack of communication.
It's rude and it's selfish.
But Heather Gay is happy because it feels good to be a bad Mormon in Vegas.
She's
a
awesome.
Mormon girl's taste of the dark side.
It is definitely a different world than they're used to.
Yeah, we're going to have to take a trip to Vegas. I can't believe that they have an entire car just for luggage.
I can, because when I travel and I have events and stuff, I bring like 3 suitcases.
Yeah, but you're performing and are going to have to do like 3 or 4 costume changes in one night. These ladies, how long are they going to be there? I mean, it's only 2 episodes long, 3 max. I think only 2 though. So how many costume changes are they going to have in 2 days?
Listen, when I step outside, I am performing. So I need to have a look for everything I'm doing.
To that. Amen to that. So they get in the car, and then
Whitney calls Lisa, and it goes straight to voicemail.
I see Lisa just like declining it right away.
Oh, I totally knew that's what she was doing, but I was like, what if she calls Meredith right away? And she does, like 4 seconds later,
Do you
calls
think
Meredith.
she knew that they were all in the car together? Or do you think that she was just really being that outright, like, hateful?
I don't think she was being hateful, but I think she just didn't really want to talk to Whitney, but she knew that she had to get into contact with them. So instead of Whitney keep calling her or having to call Whitney back, she called Meredith and decided to go through Meredith instead. But she had to have known she was on like speaker because you could hear Whitney be like, "Hi, Lisa," and there's just silence.
I know. I even wrote that. I can't believe it. But, you know, I like how Jen Shah says, this is Lisa's thumbs up. I was like,
Oh, gosh,
good way
that's
to bring
good.
it back. Bring it back.
Yeah, that's good. But it is kind of rude and selfish to not let people know, like, hey, I am going to be there and I can attend, but I am working, so I don't know what all I can do.
Yeah, Lisa's like, I don't owe Whitney a thing. But I'm like, yeah, if she invited you, the least you could do is say, yeah, I decided that I'm going to be able to make it. You know, that's I get that you're mad, but I think it was pretty rude.
Yeah, it was not necessary.
Yeah. The ladies arrive at Nomad, Las Vegas. And did you notice that when they're all standing in a line in the hotel, when the weird hosts approach them with the weird poem, they all look like they're about the same height. Now, I thought that Jen Shah was like 3.5 feet tall. I'm surprised to see that maybe the rest of the cast are close to that. Meredith's obviously a little bit taller, but I was surprised to see that how petite, the real petite housewives.
I just didn't see what heels they were wearing because, there's different sizes of heels and stuff like that. So I don't know. But I did notice that they were all very similar in height. But yeah, that guy coming out and welcoming them with a poem and stuff and like giving them champagne right away, I was like, oh, damn, I can't afford staying here.
No.
When they give you a drink before you even get to your room and say a poem, like that is way too expensive for me.
First of all, if it was just me and you showing up, I'd be like, did you just read a cheesy poem to me? Like, that was...
Well, are you hitting on my husband?
I was like, what? And they all looked at him like, what is he saying? Why is this happening?
It was very sweet, but I think if he memorized it, I think it would have gone better.
It
But
made a
him
little
like
bit more
looking at
sense.
a paper, it's like, did you spend all day writing that?
It was just, he put more effort on his poem than Billy did on his proposal to Heather.
Oh my god,
He did. Yeah, I thought it was weird. So Whitney tells them that they're going race car driving, which sounds super exciting, but Jen Shah's like, no, sorry, I have a surprise for Heather, which was so sweet, but...
It's kind of rude.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad for Whitney. Everyone's ditching her and not letting her be the organizer of the trip.
And plus, as she points out, now she's stuck alone with Lisa and Meredith.
Oh gosh, see, that's the worst part for me. But you know what? It wasn't that bad.
It took me a second to not realize that. And then when she said that, I was like, oh my God, Whitney, that's awful. And then Lisa arrives to Meredith's room. Again, I do feel like she should have at least responded since she was the one invited. But Lisa is one of those people who says, I'm not changing myself for anybody.
Yeah.
And another one of those triggers for me, because I feel like I really like myself, but I know there's always room for growth. Mm-hmm. And if there was something that, especially someone that I cared about, which I know that Lisa doesn't care about Whitney, but I feel like that's you remember on Instagram this week, Lisa went off.
Oh, yeah, while she was getting her makeup done.
Yeah,
I like
getting
that.
hair and makeup done, and she went off about how she's not changing for anybody. And I'm like, a little change can be good. A little change can be good. Listen to your husband.
But there's a lot
Listen
of
to your
things about authenticity being thrown around about all these women. Are they being authentic to themselves? And I found that kind of weird that that's what a lot of them are focusing on is who's authentic and who isn't authentic.
Right. I do agree with Lisa, though, and Meredith, for that matter, that Whitney does need to take some accountability, and we'll get there. But they want everyone to take accountability. Everyone's still anxious for Jen Shah to take accountability about talking about Meredith. And then Whitney and Heather, of course, still want Jen Shah to take accountability for throwing the glass. So, but y'all, why are you trying to get Jen Shah to take accountability for these things?
You guys, it's a lost cause right now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, they even want to get the guy that gave Jen the drink in the first place in trouble now. It's like they just want everybody to be apologetic.
So Heather Gay and Jen Shah have their surprise moment because she loves Heather so much. She's throwing her Shah-mazing
Shah-mazing.
private shopping luxury experience. So Dora and Gollum are her personal shoppers.
Are you talking about Dominic?
Yes.
Yeah, he scared me. I just wrote, Dominic scares me.
I just wrote Dora and Gollum.
Oh my gosh.
I love that the shoes that they buy that match, like I think Heather buys the yellow bows and Jen Shah buys the red bows. I thought those were really cute. And you know what? I do like that pink column dress that's kind of, what do you call, ombre, I guess?
Ombre, yes.
I do like that pink, like ombre column dress.
Beauty Lab pink.
Yes, Beauty Lab pink. And then, did you notice that the fern suit is actually the J-Lo print?
Do I look like a fern?
From
It is?
Yes.
Oh, it looked familiar. But
And
I
it's
didn't
also
know.
Lisa Rinna wore that print also.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's I believe at least it's what. Okay, if I'm wrong, you're welcome to drag me. I read it on the internet. So, but I did. It looked familiar enough that I didn't disagree with it.
Yeah, when Jen gets up on the bar and says, "Am I a sexy fern?" I was dying. I was like, "Yes, honey, give us houseplant."
And this is also the scene that we've been teased since before the show ever started. When Jen Shah says, "You can't buy my tits because my plastic surgeon retired."
That's awesome.
We've been waiting for that line since like October.
When they're taking pictures up there and having so much fun, and Jen's shoe comes undone and she falls. Heather is a ride or die friend. Did you see the
Yes.
death grip she had on
Yes,
Jen's shirt?
yes,
Even
yes.
with her long nails, she had a death grip on
But
that
did you
thing.
notice that when Jen fell, she was trying to sit on Heather's shoulder? She was literally trying to sit on Heather's shoulder, and that's when she fell.
That's awesome.
So Jen's glad that they're not going race car driving, then cut to Whitney uncomfortably waiting for Lisa and Meredith. To be honest with you, there was a really weird look on her face while she was waiting for them. It looked a little bit staged for me.
Oh, I
It
didn't
looked a little
notice.
bit like, Whitney, stand here and wait. Lisa and Heather are on their way out.
Yeah, well, you know, that kind of happens a lot in these
Yeah,
types of
yeah,
shows.
yeah.
But I don't know if I would be happier to have a shopping spree or a high-performance vehicle. If the shopping spree was free, like I didn't have to pay for it because I couldn't afford that, I would totally do the outfits thing right away because I love a new outfit. I love shopping.
I think the gift was just the private shopping experience because Heather came out with half as much as Jen did.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, that high-performance driving, that's got to be so much fun. If you've ever been in, like, a vehicle that has some really good kick and somebody like slams on the gas, you could feel that in your entire body. So I totally understand why people love high performance vehicles.
I love that.
And Lisa is dressed for this. She's wearing like that cute little tracksuit.
I want it. I want it. I want it.
We'll get it.
I have to. Brooks needs to make one.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
In red, yeah.
So I can at least have something.
I'm not surprised that Lisa was working in Vegas. I'm not surprised that she took a call in the middle of a sentence.
Oh, me either. Not at all. I was
and
like,
stayed
I was
until
like,
they were there as far as I'm concerned.
I was like, was that rude? No, that's just Lisa. I mean, she's just doing her thing.
But that drive was so painful.
I'd rather be at church right now.
I would have rather been in church as well. Like, that was rough.
I hated that. So they get to Las Vegas Speedway, more handsome bearded guys. Now Lisa in her quote unquote in real life, as opposed to this, which is not real life, she drives a Porsche Panamera. And so she uses that brag moment to get some advice from the gentleman on what kind of, if I drive this kind of fancy car, brag, what type of car should I drive here?
That British guy was hot, though.
Yeah,
He had such a hot voice.
And then I love them all when they come out in their racing suits. They look so cute. And then after all the bragging, all the excitement, she loves cars, she loves speed. Cut to Lisa being the slowest driver. I feel it looks like the girls even lap her.
They do, because they say you need to get over so we can let these other two pass. And I was like, dang. It's so weird that she did that, but I don't know if she was worried about, you know, like she's kind of taking into her mind business-wise, like if something does happen and she wrecks this car, she's going to have to pay for it, you know?
Yeah.
So she's kind of worried about it. But yeah, her going so slow and that guy just saying, okay, just a little bit more gas.
A little more gas now. A little bit more if you'd like to. Gonna turn to the right. A little more gas, Lisa. Yes, ma'am.
Just, a little bit more gas.
Did you notice that Meredith, who hates to drive, was the fastest?
She was going 110 miles an hour.
Meredith 110, who hates to drive. Whitney at 108, so they were all neck and neck, and then 70 for
I loved it how they filmed that because it's like zoom, zoom.
After the drive, Whitney starts off with an apology, but an apology for how it happened, because she's still blaming Heather.
Well, she does at first, but I do feel like at the end she's like, and I do need to take accountability for what I did. So I want to say I'm sorry again.
Yeah, I was
but
totally headed there. I was
throwing Heather under the bus is making me so angry because, for one, Heather's ride or die gal for me. I love her to death. Whitney is a ride or die gal too, but Whitney, you did not do well in that thing, and she really was helping you. I really want to ask her, like, now that she saw it, does she think differently?
We'll find out. But I will say that Whitney gives a full-on apology at least 3 times.
She apologizes, makes sure she apologizes multiple times, and you know what? That's all Lisa needed.
I like that when Whitney told Lisa that she talked to Mary, Lisa said, grain of salt there.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? Nobody speaks for Lisa or Meredith.
No, they do
except
not.
For them.
No, they do not.
Case closed, honey.
Well, everyone seems ready to move forward.
We'll see.
I'm going to hold my breath for the next 3 weeks.
So let's go back to Heather and Jen trying on some clothes.
They get practically the same shoes, but Jen gets twice as much, like I just said a little bit.
Yeah, and they start talking about Whitney, of course. Jen is still not happy with Whitney. She's exactly in the same spot she was before. Heather is trying to explain what Whitney was trying to say, and Jen flips. She cannot handle it.
I'm having deja vu. This exact same thing happened with Mary. Jen told Mary she was over it, and then as soon as Mary was gone, she kept freaking out about it. Here, last week, she told Whitney she was over it, but she's not able to be.
I was kind of hoping that since Jen got to have this conversation with Sharrieff, that she would be a little bit more level-headed and been like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, and, you know, it's better now because we got to talk. She is not having it. She just does not like it that she brought it up during that birthday, and she is making it known that Whitney ruined that party.
Oh, but then when Heather Gay asks, well, are you blaming Whitney for breaking the glass? My whole body tensed up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my butt puckered. I was like freaking, and I was like, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah, it was rough when she said that, but you know what? It's true. Like,
Well, Jen has a point that Whitney came about this the wrong way, but that's all that Jen can see. She's so used to reacting this way that she doesn't really want to see it from the outside. As Heather said on Watch What Happens Live, people are like, Jen Shah's putting on from the cameras, and Heather's like, no, this is how she acts. And which is not great, which is really not great.
But you know what? I don't think Heather is so much scared of Jen. She's just more scared of losing her as a friend.
Yeah, and listen, whenever you have anyone in your life who reacts that way,
Volatile.
you walk on eggshells. It's not necessarily being scared of them, and maybe the word scared is what's throwing everybody off. It's more like I walk around eggshells around you to keep you from blowing up. It's not fun when you're blowing up, so I try to keep you from doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really this has been about all the time.
Absolutely. But, you know, Heather says Jen just wants a henchman. She doesn't want a friend.
Yeah.
And I could totally see that. And especially when she was on Watch What Happens Live and they're asking all these questions, it wasn't towards Jen. It was more towards Whitney about that she's can hold a secret,
Yeah. I thought it was pretty bold, though, for Jen to tell Heather that she's putting her reputation on the line from being friends with Whitney.
Oh, that's
that
just too
no
much.
one wants to be. Here's what it is. Jen's been talking to Lisa and or Meredith, but probably, I really do feel like Lisa is kind of the ringleader, the anti-Whitney ringleader as far as Lisa and Meredith are concerned.
Yeah.
But Jen Shah has been talking to Lisa, and Lisa has probably, and the other girls, Meredith, they're not into Whitney right now, and that's probably this reputation, quote unquote, that Jen Shah is talking about.
But you see that a lot on these shows that when there's a new girl or there's a girl that they don't like, the other women tell that girl, like, that's gonna, like, lower your status in the society and stuff. They always kind of throw that out there, like you're not going to be
Deandra,
seen as a
don't
good
hang
person.
out with Brandy.
Yeah,
Deandra,
exactly.
don't hang out with Brandy. She's going to bring you down, which, I could talk about that all day.
But, in the next episode, I'm very nervous with this lady that's, like, coaching them or whatever. And they're like, who doesn't trust Jen? And everybody's hands go up.
Well, you can't blame them.
I know, honestly, but I'm just... it's got to suck to be Jen sitting there. She's like,
Seriously,
what?
so uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. Well, thank you all again for another exciting week of Housewives. Thank you for joining us. Let me remind you one more time. Next week, please don't be panicked if we're not out like we normally are by Sunday evening. It might not come out until Monday due to some travel. But in the meantime, please make sure to follow us on all social media outlets. On Facebook and Instagram, we are The Real Housebears of SLC. On Twitter, we are Housebears of SLC. And you can also email us at therealhousebearsofslc@gmail.com.
We are also on YouTube, so you could go and click and subscribe to us and see some behind-the-scene videos and also listen to all of our podcasts on there. We are also on iTunes podcasts, but what I really need you guys to do is right after you're done listening to this, go to iTunes podcast, go to our page, and scroll all the way down to the reviews and give us a 5-star, no 4-star, no 3-star,
5-star rating.
5-star rating, because we really rely on those ratings. And thank you all so much for listening to us, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Testing.
Testing.
Testing, testing.
Testing 1, testing 2, testing 3.
Hello.
Oh my God, hello.
And welcome to Harden Manor,
Ooh, I'm cold.
where the wind is always blowing, no matter how cold you are.
Oh, that must mean that explains the chill that I have.